like to introduce you about levels and curves in Adobe Photoshop 2022. So we can go to the image, adjustment, and levels. Levels is to set colors and lights of the color with shadow, midtones, and highlights. So the shadow is this arrow on the most left, and the right one is the highlights arrow, and this middle arrow is the midtones arrow. Make sure before you put this dialog box in your window on your screen, make sure the image of the layer image is selected and the layer image is selected as well. So if you move this right mouse arrow to the left, the image will become brighter. But if you set this left mouse arrow to the right, the image becomes darker in the color channels. As you can see in RGB, you can select the colors that you want to adjust the brightness and contrast in the levels. In midtones arrow is to set the colors which are not bright nor dark. So if you move the darkness to the right, the image will become darker. If you move the highlights to the right by midtone button right here or midtone arrow right here, the image will become lighter. As you can see right here, midtones is also can make your lightness of the picture will become lighter to the left without changing the contrast, while the left and right arrows right here is setting the contrast as well. Okay, click cancel right now. Then curves. Go to image, adjustment, and curves. Are more detailed than levels. As you can see, you can add many dots, as many as you want. To adjust, even the colors will change in here. And you can set the brightness and contrast in here as well by adding more dots to the lines in here. We could set not only those three colors: classification, midtones, highlight, and shadows, but also the light values. Click cancel. The shortcut keyboard to this is Ctrl L and Ctrl M. You can press those keys for levels and curves in your keyboard. Okay, that's all for levels and curves. I hope you enjoy and see you in the next video. Right now, I would like to introduce you about shadows, highlights, and exposure on the image adjustment. Still in the image menu and adjustment, this function is to create an adjustment to the image or to the image layer like this. Make sure it's activated. Go to image, adjustment, and shadows and highlights. Same functions like in the levels dialog box. Shadow value, if we move it to the right, that means the picture becomes brighter. Then when the highlights slider is moved to the right, the picture becomes darker. If we show more options right here, as you can see, if the shadow radius is moved to the right, it's not only the edge part of the object in the picture that is getting darker, but also the middle part of the object in the picture becomes darker. You can try with trial and error by yourself to see the effects. You can save the defaults, click cancel if you're done. Then image, go to the exposure. Exposure is like brightness and contrast in the function. When you slide the exposure arrow to the right, the picture becomes more less friendly to the eye because of the light. Then, if you move the exposure slider to the left, since the picture becomes darker, the picture color will also more friendly to the eye. Gamma correction is to make the picture paler or become darker like this. Then the offset, same like gamma correction but in a different direction. You can choose to pick color over here to set the color value, the color lightness and darkness over here. Click cancel. Okay, that's all for shadows, highlights, and exposure. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you in the next video. Come back with me again with Adobe Photoshop features of 2022. Right now, I would like to show you the auto color and black and white. Firstly, just as we know, we have to continue clicking the layers that we want to edit. Click the menu image, then auto color, or you can press Ctrl+Shift+B on your keyboard. Auto color lets you to easily correct color balance automatically without set it manually. But however, this effect is not so satisfying to all users since we cannot do setting manually. Then click undo or press Ctrl+C on your keyboard. Then we go to the image and black and white, or you can press Alt+Shift+Ctrl+B on your keyboard. Black and white lets you see brightness and contrast of a picture in black and white mode. However, you can still set the color values in these sliders. So for example, if you slide the red color in here to the right, the red colors in the picture will turn into bright. And if to the left, the red becomes darker, so as the other colors. If you click thin checkbox in here, is to change the picture using the monotonous color mode rather than black and white only. You can change which color tone that you want to set in your picture, and you can set the saturation in here. You can still set the color values in this picture, although the picture has turned into monotonous green color mode. Click cancel. And that's all for auto color and black and white. You can have fun with those effects and see you in the next video. Come back with me again with Adobe Photoshop features of 2022. Right now, still in the image adjustment modes, we still have to click the layers with the image or with the smart object or every picture layer, either is bitmap, rasterized, or smart object. We click image menu and adjustment and color, balance, or Ctrl B on your shortcut keyboard you press. And then the preview button or checkbox in here should be clicked, should be checked. So is the other dialog box in the image adjustment mode. You should click the preview to see it directly in the canvas how the effect is gonna be in the canvas. Then the color balance with the classification sliders right here, you can set the highlights, midtone, and shadows. If you want to activate shadows, the dark colors of these colors will be balanced. But if you click these midtones, the neutral tones will be balanced. Either it will be more cyan or red, more yellow or blue, more magenta or red. The highlights. If you activate this button, lights of these colors will be activated. So for example, if you move the cyan to the left, the light of the cyan will be activated more. And if you click the red to the right, the highlight, the light of the red will be more prominent. So is the magenta, the green, the blue, the yellow. If you move the magenta or green to the left in the shadow mode, the magenta will become darker. So is the green. If you click the blue to the right in the shadow mode, it will become more darker in the blue. So is the yellow. If you move the yellow to the left, the yellow becomes more darker. And so is the red. The red also becomes more darker to the right if in the shadow mode, in color balance. So is the cyan right here. It becomes darker to the left in shadow mode. Okay, you can experiment it by yourself. Click cancel. That's all for color balance. Hope you can practice it by yourself and see you in the next video. Hello, again in Adobe Photoshop features of 2022. Right now, still in the image adjustment where you have to click the layers of image. Then you can go to image adjustment, hue and saturation or Ctrl U in the shortcut keyboard. In hue and saturation, you can change the color channels, brightness and contrast, and can switch them into different colors. You could use those colors that you want to change right here in the master drop-down menu. But if you click master or press Alt and 2 in your keyboard, you can control all or you can change all the colors. If you click this red, you just only can change the red part of the pictures and change it into different colors. You can see the cyan part and the green part in here and the blue part doesn't change if you move the slider in the hue in the red mode. You can also change the saturation and the lightness You can control the lightness, or you can pick some color that you want to change by clicking this eyedropper tool and click this part of the picture when you can automatically change the color blue in the picture by sliding the hue slider. You can change it to magenta, green, or purple, or red, or orange, or brown. Something like this. You can change the yellows also in here. Or you can change the green color. Or maybe the cyan in here will be green. Saturation, lightness. Have fun with those colors with hue and saturation dialog box. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Come back with me again with Adobe Photoshop features of 2022. Right now, I would like to show you what match color is. Still in the image adjustment lesson, right now we can click the image adjustment and then match color. Why this match color right here is unable to be available right now? Because this layer is not converted yet into bitmap. It's still in the smart object mode. You can see this logo right here is still in the smart object mode. What we can do is go to layer, rasterize, and smart object. Then it will be converted into a bitmap. Match color itself is to match two photos to be like in the same settings, as if they are taken in the same time and same place, and also same atmosphere. Change the name of the layer right here by clicking this layer 2 times in the Layers tab and just rename it as image. Press enter on your keyboard. Right now we will go to the image menu, adjustment, and match color. In this dialog box right here, you can see you have to get the source, but only the file name PSD is on the source because there are no more other windows in here. So what we can do is open another file. Click this File Explorer and pick a picture that has kind of the same atmosphere with the current picture in our canvas and drop it just right next to the file name Photoshop file until you see the copy symbol and drop it. Then it will automatically open in the next window. Okay, come back to the file name PSD file or Photoshop file and go to the match color. Then you can see the source right here. There are two right now. Go to this other window as a source that we have just imported or just opened in the Photoshop to have the same filter that the Photoshop itself can apply into the canvas right now that we face. Then optionally, after you copy the effects or vibes to our current image in the canvas, you can change the luminance, like the light intensity or color intensity, like how dense the color will be. As you can see, more to the left, more sepia tone it is. To the right, you can see the slider. It's getting the picture in the canvas more saturated in color. The fade, like how dense, the lightness, like the white part of the picture. And neutralize, if you click this checkbox, you will normalize the color. Okay, as you can see in the canvas right here, we can directly see in the canvas because we already clicked the preview checkbox. Click cancel right here. Okay, that's all for today's video about match color. Hope you enjoy and see you in the next video. In Adobe Photoshop features of 2022. Right now, I would like to show you still in the image adjustment, replace color. At first, we should have the image adjustment. Go to the image and adjustment menu. You should have rasterized the smart object if it is a picture in a smart object in the layers tab, in your layers tab, and you can change the name of the layer. Here we already activate the bitmap layer and we go to image adjustment and go to the replace color. This dialog box functions to change a certain color of object in the canvas. So for example, we drag the dialog box right here and change the orange reddish color in here. And you can see the preview in here where the area is covered by the fuzziness in here, or the part where the color will be changing. You could choose the color by clicking this box. So you can see just the plate which have the light orange color will be covered by the fuzziness area. The more to the left, you slide the slider in the fuzziness, the less area it gonna cover, and the more area it gonna cover by sliding the slider to the right. Normally we will choose 40 as the amount of fuzziness, but for the plate only maybe we can just put 16 as a value, or you can choose the color by dropping this eyedropper tool in some parts of the picture. You can see the fuzziness covering area will be changing as we drop the eyedropper tool or click the eyedropper tool in different area of the picture. And then to get the new color, just mix well the hue or saturation and lightness. As you can see, when we slide the hue, the plate will be changing like into pinkish color. We can change it into bluish color, greenish color, and etc. You can also change the saturation of the plate color, and maybe you can change the color of the plate to be more like dark green with lightness. Or you can change the selection into image so that you can directly select the color in here rather than just the selection here that only shows the covering area of the fuzziness. To check this one, to localize the color clusters where you can put the green like to be applied more into the background image. Click OK. Okay, that's all for replace color. I hope you enjoy and see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, come back with me again with Adobe Photoshop features of 2022. Right now, I would like to show you about the channel mixer where you already rasterize the image into bitmap form rather than just a smart object that you have imported from the File Explorer. Go to Image Adjustment and go to Channel Mixer. When you put a channel mixer dialog box in the screen, you can change the color intensity based on the RGB red, green, blue right here, color channels. When you slide the red value to the left, it decreases the red value and becomes more cooler in tone, just like the green and blue color right here. Increase the red value, it will decrease the green value. It is more like a blue shade over here. The output channel should be red. And then the constant, if you increase, the red will more be intense. When you slide the constant slider to the left, the red color will disappear. This constant set the intensity of the red in here that we put 92% of the whole picture. The more to the right, the more 92-ish% of the red will cover the total picture. We change into green. When you change the green into like more lower in value, you could see the red color will change. If you put the constant to the right, it will mix with the red, like in the middle of the red and green, which is yellow. Don't forget to click this checkbox of preview so you can directly see the canvas. You can make the pop-up art out of this picture in the canvas with this channel mixer dialog box. If you put the output channel red, green, blue constant, like in high value respectively, then you can see the white color as the main color in the picture in our canvas. Okay, if you check this monochrome button right here, or you can click this monochrome checkbox, the picture will turn into monochromatic black and white color. They don't choose other color, just black as the monochrome. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you in the next video. Hello, come back with me again in Adobe Photoshop Features 2022. Still in the image adjustment, filter, or menu, we can make the image still in bitmap mode, not in smart object mode. You should be rasterizing it first by clicking layer, rasterize, and whatever this is show up, and go to image adjustment. And now look at the photo filter. Photo filter is like when you apply a filter layer that put a certain color vibes in your picture, although it doesn't look very obvious. Filter here provides ready color, vibes, or component that you could choose. Or you can set the color manually in here, like which color that you want as a thin layer. And for the density in here is to set how thick the color vibes is gonna be, or the color layer thickness is gonna be with density. Preserve luminosity. If you uncheck the preserve luminosity, the color will become darker. Make sure you click the preview checkbox right here so it can be easily previewed in the canvas directly. You can see the filters right here. You can choose. It provides warming filter, cooling filter. There are various filters over here. Click OK. So that's it about the photo filter. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back again to Adobe Photoshop features of 2022. Right now, I would like to show you about the image adjustment layer in here. So if you create in here the adjustment layer by pressing this icon in the layers tab, you will create some layer which give effects of the layer below it. In this case, the layer below it will be the image layer, like the bitmap layer over here. In here, you can choose what effects of what you're gonna put in the colors of the layer below the adjustment layer, which is the active layer over here. Let's put up the vibrance. Then in the properties layer right here, it will show up. But if you don't have the properties layer, just go to Windows and click on the checkbox of properties, then it will show up. The vibrance in here is to create the value within how it will decrease or increase the saturation or the vibrance without affecting the light or bright colors to be darker. You can also adjust the saturation right here, like you want it to be paler or more like kind of warm or hot tone in the color. By pressing this button or clicking this button right here, you can also affect all the layers below it, not just one layer below it. And click this one again to unactivate. Then this is when you can press this button. So for example, we have made changes to the properties tab in here of the vibrance adjustment layer. We can press this icon for a long time to see the before state of where we can hide the vibrance adjustment layer as well. And this one is to reset the adjustment defaults. So when you press this one or click this one, the values of vibrance and saturation will come back to 0. And this one is to delete the adjustment layer. Click yes, and bam, the vibrance in the properties are gone, and so the adjustment layer in here. Click new adjustment layer again, and let's try the brightness and contrast in here. You can set and adjust the brightness of the photo, the contrast of the photo. You can click this checkbox of use legacy so that it will automatically respond to the colors of the image or bitmap layer in here. Pressing this icon means you could just hide this one. Like this is the state where you set the picture before the adjustment layer is set up to the layers tab. Okay, I think that's all for the adjustment layer. You can try more others effect in here. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.